Hey everyone! In today's video, I want to address a common question that I get asked, which is it possible to run a sustainable fashion brand and actually make it profitable, actually earn a living from it? There's a common misconception that sustainable brands are going to be a ton more expensive and really difficult as a startup. But actually the good news is a sustainable brand can actually cost you less to start off with than a regular fashion brand. So I want to dive into that in this video. If you're new around here, hi, I'm Vicky from the Fashion Business Coach, and each week we have a video to help you start and scale your fashion brand successfully. This week we're addressing that question on sustainability and the profitability and how that works exactly. And as I said, there's a common misconception that a sustainable brand is going to cost a lot more money. And truth is, if you're really strategic with the way you launch your sustainable brand, and if you're really committed to your sustainable values, actually you can find that you launch your collection with a lot less than you would if you weren't working sustainably. And I've certainly experienced this myself. When I compare the amount that I spend on developing collections for my sustainable brand and look at what other people are doing, I generally tend to spend a lot less. Now, there are things that are going to cost you more money when working sustainably. It's not that everything's going to be cheaper. It's just the way that we run our business as a whole is generally going to be cheaper than a regular brand. I don't know what to call them other than a regular brand. So why is that? So in terms of the things that are more expensive, typically sustainable fabrics are going to be more expensive, for example. So that's generally because in order to produce a fabric sustainably, there's going to be different processes applied versus ones that aren't. So usually you're going to find that that fabric cost is higher. Similarly, with the actual production costs, you may also find that's higher, though that's more to do with ethics than sustainability. But a lot of brands, I find, they like to tie in things like human rights and fair wages and all that kind of ethical stuff within their sustainable brand. So therefore, when you pay them fair wages, you are going to be paying more. So on that side of things, there can be additional costs. However, working sustainably generally means having less of things. So when you apply that across the board and really have your sustainable principles across the board of your business, across every area, you actually find that your costs come down a lot. Because, for example, a lot of non-sustainable fashion brands, they're going to buy lots of hangers, they're going to buy plastic and containers and, you know, those plastic mailing bags and all these kinds of things, which you can greatly reduce if you're working sustainably. You'll find that you have a lot less extra things to buy. Similarly, if you have an office, you're not going to be buying things like paper or printers or anything like that, because a sustainable brand would have a paperless office. So there's a lot of ways that you can actually save money by being more sustainable. So on that sense, it's a win-win. Saving money, using less natural resources, saving the planet, it's all good, right? So I did want to get that across to you. The other reason why personally I tend to see sustainable brands costing less initially to launch than a regular business is because we do things on a smaller scale. So yes, there might be increased production costs, and typically sustainable fashion products are more expensive for that reason, but there's also a lot less of them. If you're trying to be pricing yourself like Primark or H&M or someone like that, you're going to have to sell a hell of a lot of product in order to make a profit. You know, those brands sell t-shirts for what, £5? And in order to, you know, even make £100, you've got to sell 20 of them. Whereas if you're selling a t-shirt at £25, you've only got to make 4. So in terms of the amount of inventory required, you actually need a lot less to start a sustainable fashion brand typically. So that's why, as I say, I tend to see that you actually spend less as a sustainable brand versus a regular brand. Obviously, there's a ton of different factors included within that, but I really wanted to make this video to really debunk that myth that you're going to spend a lot more being sustainable, because that definitely shouldn't be a reason to put you off working sustainably, because there are ways around a lot of these issues. Similarly, you know, I could go on all day about the different things that you could try, and certainly I'll put my contact details at the end if you want to chat about any of this. But another one, for instance, is reducing the number of samples that you need. So I work with a lot of brands in producing samples in 3D. So yes, there's a cost associated with my time and getting the 3D done, but then we reduce not only the amount of money we spend on samples being physically sewn and fabrics, but we also reduce the amount we spend on couriers having to transport it, which usually if you're even within Europe sending something by courier, you're looking at €25. So that there is a saving in itself. So moral of the story, if you want to start a sustainable brand, don't be put off by the cost, because it's not going to be dramatically different versus if you're going to start another kind of business, and you might actually find that you save money as well. We've got tons of content on how you can do sustainable fashion effectively, including a free masterclass, which I'll link below for you, which shares the 3 biggest mistakes that I see new entrepreneurs in this space making, and just some tips for how you can overcome those. So I hope that's going to be useful. We have a new video out every week, and I hope to see you in the next one next week. Bye for now.